All right, what's up, everybody? This is my install for my first Pheonix props in collaboration with 7Chambers. They did a hero. I'm not sure which generation this is. I believe it's either the first or second generation. Um, it is the one where the grenade section is more movie accurate with the uneven rings. And yeah, here gets a closer look here. And I apologize if the camera ends up getting out of focus because I'm doing this by myself on a tripod. All right, so it is a full NeoPixel install. You have the Shtok NeoPixel with onboard LEDs in the emitter. You have on top. You have the same thing on top of the crystal chamber in the chassis, connecting to a blade side Shtok PCB. NeoPixel LEDs in the switch box with tactile switches, power, and aux. And then you have Goth, all part one of the body section and part one of the crystal chamber. You have a 24 millimeter Smugglers Outpost bass speaker with and it's removable on a pod. Proffie 2.2 with the 3.9 operating system. I know a lot of people ask, why are you still using 3.9 instead of the newest 4.7? And that's because anybody who buys from me, I don't like sending you off with the newest operating system, because as I've been researching and getting into this hobby, I've noticed that even though a operating system goes fully out, a lot of the guys who are working on it, they do an amazing job at like finding as many of the nook and cranny glitches as they can. I just tend to side on the rule of caution. I don't want anybody to have to deal with any glitches after they buy from me. I want you to be able to have a fully functioning saber. So that's kind of why I do that. Yeah. So 3.9 has a absolutely huge plethora of functions, which is really cool. So yeah, that's kind of why I do that. 4.7 is still relatively new. So maybe in the future, eventually I'll upgrade to that one, but for now, we're going to stick with 3.9, and you're going to have a definitely fully functioning saber, which is great. All right. Then what's also really cool about this was the inner. I normally do the Balance V4 by Roman's Props. So this is my first hero from another maker. And they have a slightly thinner wall in here, which allowed them to have a thicker crystal chamber section, so you could fit a lot more in here. And so I was like, that's pretty cool. What else could I cram in there? What else could I get in there? And a lot of people have been saying like, oh man, I really wish I didn't have to pull the speaker in and out. So I was like, yeah, well, that's true. What are people mostly doing? Well, they're pulling it out to get into the charger and to flip the kill switch every time they just want to turn the saber on and off. And to me, that can be pretty cumbersome. So I was like, man, if I could get that kill switch out of there, that'd be great. And then I was like, well, and then the recharge port, what if I could get that out of there too? So I did an experiment, and it turned out a little bit better than I was actually expecting. I am going to try to do this on Roman's Props Balance V4s, but it's going to be tough, because it is a thinner. Let's get some close-ups on here. It is a thinner chamber section, so I may not be able to fit it. But if you look up here, that is your 1.5 millimeter recharge port. So you're just going to plug in right to there. And then here is your kill switch. So yeah, I'm going to try it on the Romans props and see what happens. But for now, this is where we're at. So here, let me put that down there. Show you the speaker pod. I do put this little custom pulley on here. If that ever breaks, you could attempt to replace it or tie it onto itself again. But if it does, I would suggest there are some like cell phone repair kits out there that have these really tiny squeegees and really tiny Phillips screwdrivers and flatheads and whatever. And you could use that to kind of pry it in and out. But there is your Proffie board with the access to the SD card and the board. There are your pins for the speaker. And then here's your speaker pod. And another reason why, I wanted to move the kill switch and the recharge port is because getting this speaker in and out to line up with those pins is cumbersome. And if you do ever do it, I suggest you practice if you do need to get in there, because you don't ever want to force this guy in. You want to be very gentle. But once you get it in, you should see that kind of depth. If it's higher than that, it's not in. And then what's great is this pommel's walls on the threads are thicker, so as you're screwing in, it's going to push in the speaker and really, secure it in there. All right, let's fire this puppy up.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
So you're looking at all Fett or Fernando Blade Styles. There's about 5. They're all color change. They all have blaster block. They all have lockup, tip drag. Color change, like I mentioned. And so, first one is Luke Skywalker, Return of the Jedi. Second is Finn from the last, we're losing focus here. From The Rise of Skywalker or The Force Awakens. After that is a creepy uncle, Luke Skywalker, I designed, mostly also in conjunction with Kyberphonics, which, by the way, all these fonts are Kyberphonics. But I added like a couple little fonts of him speaking from The Last Jedi, and it's a creepy uncle style. And then after that is Kylo Ren, Old Ben, and then Darth Vader. Every one of these has music. All of them have voices, and I'll show you how to activate and deactivate that. So to turn on the saber, you hit the upper part of the card. Smooth swing. So for blaster blocks, you're going to tap the bottom. And then for lockup, you hold it. Now, for fonts, while the blade is ignited, you're going to hold the power button. And just so you know, I have like a few on each one, except for Finn. Finn is the only one where there's only one. I didn't really like the ones that it came with. They sounded like they came from the video game. So to do it, there's no repeating, there's no cycle, so sometimes you might hit it and get a voice, and then it might literally repeat the same one right after. It's kind of annoying, but it doesn't cycle through. You kind of just have to go with it.
No one's ever really gone.
So again, while the blade is ignited, to get him to say those things, you hold the power button and then let go.
The Force is strong in my family. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
And I don't know if holding it longer
No one's ever really gone.
lets you cycle through. It might.
You have that power too.
Seems like it actually kind of does do that now that we try it.
You have that power too.
Or not. So anyway, let's demonstrate color change. So color change is hold aux and literally tap that power button. So, and then you're going to hear that jingle, and you can twist it this way, or you can go this way. I don't know why, but for some reason going like this, you can hit more colors than going like a clock. So I kind of do the tube spin. And and then these NeoPixel, because these are NeoPixel, they actually color change too, which is kind of cool. And then when you find one you want to pick, you just do the same thing like you did to open it up. So you hold aux and tap power. And you're going to hear that jingle, and then it stays on there. Alright, let's hear the music. So for music, the blade has to be off, and then you hold the power button and let go. To turn it off, you can do the same thing, hold the power button, let go, it shuts off, or you can just hit the aux button and switch over to the next character font. Now you can, while the music's playing, you can ignite it. And for the sake of time, I can't play all of them. I'm running out of time, so again, if you want to turn it off this way, you just hold power and it shuts off, or you hit the aux and go to the next character.
Come get it.
This is Finn from Force Awakens. Here's the music. Kylo Ren. This looks so cool. I forgot the demo color change. Well, you get it, but all of them color change. I'll do it on this one. So cool. Same one. Well, I can't get it to cycle through all of them. So let's do color change. Pretty cool. Alright, switch over to the next one. Oh, and then here's his music. To change characters, it's always aux when the blade is off.
Hypocrisy, hubris. At the height of their powers, they allowed Darth Sidious to rise, create the Empire, and wipe them out.
So, creepy Uncle Luke. And this is responsive blade. So is the Finn one. So every time you swing it, it turns white. Also color changes. Music.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Sorry, I'm running out of time. So here, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
These aren't the droids you're looking for. These aren't the droids you're looking for. You've taken your first step into a larger world.
All right, next one. So let's do his response.
I find your lack of faith disturbing. Don't make me destroy you.
Anyway, there's more, but I'm running out of time. So,
I'm a Jedi, like my father before me.
now if you ever, I noticed that when I first put this on and I just kind of twist it, it can stop. That's because you have to kind of push a little down and then turn it as you're turning it, because the threads need to actually like catch.
I will not turn.
Color change. Alright, and then you're going to get a custom blade plug, as well as the stock blade plug and the stock pommel. You're also going to get the original Pheonix Props Hero box, and then it comes with this cool plaque, and it has a stand. Now, the stand can be tricky to wedge it in there, so just be careful. And then, yeah, so the hilt does fit in here. But you're also going to get your own display box. And I'll put, I have black fill right now to put in there on the bottom. But, man, that looks cool. Alright, so before I run out of time, I've got about 4 more minutes. Let's get to demoing the blade. Here's the box. I mean, you don't have to go with this box. It's just one I have on hand. I have a couple other styles that I can order for you, but you'd have to wait for me to ship this out until I get those, because I want to ship them all together rather than separately. Doesn't take too long to get them, a couple days. And I'll show you the other styles if you want. Also, I would always have the blade off anytime you are connecting or disconnecting this, because in here, when the pins touch, I'd rather it not be overloaded while you're turning it. So just turn it off, put it on, turn it, then do your thing. Same thing with the blade. Never have this on and then put this in. I wouldn't do that. So, and and then this is going to come with a spare set screw in case you ever lose that one, and the Allen wrench that fits it. This is a pretty snug fit, and as I had to sand this down a little bit to get it in because it was actually like so snug. It made it really hard to get it in and out. But you know, you kind of get it in there, and then you do the set screw. For the sake of time, I don't have the screw. So yeah, let's turn the. Oh, and like here, listen how tight that is. And then every time you're pulling it out, I would always put your thumb over this, and if you have to, and if you ever have to, whoops. If you ever have to twist it to kind of wedge it out, twist it clockwise. Never go counterclockwise because you could unscrew this from here and you don't want to do that. So always clockwise and pull. See, it's so tight. All right, let's turn off the light. I forgot the set screw downstairs, or the Allen wrench downstairs, so I'm not going to do it right now, but all right.
Come get it! Traitor! Legacy of Obi-Wan. I'm a Jedi, like my father before me.
So it's a 34-inch NeoPixel blade with Shtok blade side connector in there. 1-inch blade with the bullet tip. Sorry, there's not a lot of room in here for me to swing her around. Ooh, that one's really bright. Look at that. So bright you can barely see the blocks.